The AI revolution is completely changing the game in cybersecurity. It's creating these superpowered attacks, but also equally powerful defenses. So today, we're going to dive into this new battlefield and talk about a critical idea that's emerging from it: the urgent need for nations to build their own sovereign AI. Let's get into it.
This quote from SentinelOne, it absolutely nails the new reality. It used to be a two-step process, right? Find a weakness, then plan an attack. Not anymore. With AI, the very second a vulnerability is found, it can be exploited. Instantly. Everywhere. That tiny little gap between being vulnerable and being hacked, well, it's pretty much collapsing to zero.
And this really gets to the heart of the conflict. AI isn't just a threat. It's also our single best defense. It's a true double-edged sword. And right now, attackers and defenders are in this high-stakes race to see who can master it first. It's a new kind of technological arms race, and it is happening right now.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. First up, we'll look at the sword, the autonomous threat. Then we'll cover the shield, the AI-powered defense. And finally, we'll get into the armory, the strategic reason why sovereign AI is becoming so incredibly important.
All right, let's start with the offensive side of this equation. We have to understand that AI isn't just making old attacks faster. No, it's creating entirely new classes of autonomous threats that are fundamentally changing the nature of cyber espionage and warfare as we know it.
So, what's the engine driving all this? It's something called Agentic AI. And forget about your typical chatbot. We're talking about advanced systems that you can give a high-level goal to, and they will then go off and independently plan, execute, and adapt their own strategy, learning as they go, all without a human operator holding their hand.
So how does one of these hacking agents actually work? Well, it all starts with a goal. Something like, breach this corporate network. The AI then autonomously plans its attack. It'll probe for open ports, test weak passwords, maybe deploy some exploits, and after every single step, it analyzes the results to figure out what to do next. It is a relentless, non-stop cycle of attack and adaptation.
And this right here, this is the absolute game changer. The human bottleneck is disappearing. Think about it. Before, even automated attacks were limited by people. We saw this with the Klopp MOVIT campaign. The attackers breached thousands of organizations, but they had to slow down the extortion part because humans literally couldn't keep up with negotiating all the ransoms. With Agentic AI, that limit is just gone. The entire attack, from start to finish, can now scale at machine speed.
What you're seeing is this fundamental shift in roles. We are moving away from the old model where humans are the operators, bogged down in all the manual work. Now we're in a new model where humans are the supervisors. They set the strategy, while AI agents go out and execute 80 to 90% of the actual operation. And they do it at a pace that no human team could ever hope to match.
And just so we're clear, this isn't some far-off theoretical thing. We've already seen the first AI-orchestrated espionage campaign out in the wild. Attackers actually repurposed a commercial AI coding agent, Anthropic's Claude, and turned it into a semi-autonomous hacking tool. This let them hammer away at basic security gaps, stuff like unpatched systems, with just relentless automated efficiency and at a massive scale.
Okay, so that's the threat. It's fast, it's scalable, and it's autonomous. How in the world do you defend against something like that? Well, the only real answer is to fight fire with fire. So let's talk about the shield, AI-powered defense.
Look, in this new reality, human analysts alone simply cannot keep up. It's impossible. The only way you can possibly counter an attack that's moving at machine speed is with a defense that also operates at machine speed. And that means you have to deploy your own army of AI agents to detect, analyze, and respond to threats all on their own.
But that, of course, raises a huge question. If you're going to unleash armies of autonomous AI agents inside your own network, that creates its own massive set of problems. How do you possibly manage and control them?
This is a brand new, massive headache for security leaders. For every single AI agent they put to work, they have to ask, what can this thing do? What data can it get to? And maybe most importantly, how do we hit the kill switch if an agent goes rogue, or worse, gets hijacked by an attacker? Managing this new digital workforce is an absolutely immense task.
I love this analogy from Chris Korda at Google. He says defensive AI is like the autopilot on a plane. It's not there to replace the human pilots, it's there to augment them, to make their job more effective and safer. The AI can handle the millions of alerts and routine tasks 24/7, and that frees up the human operators to focus on the really complex investigations and the big strategic decisions.
So, okay, we have an AI sword and we have an AI shield, but this brings up a much bigger, much more strategic question. In this new era, what does it mean if the fundamental AI technology for both your country's offense and its defense is being developed and controlled by someone else, by another country?
And that very question leads us right into our final section, the armory. Here, we're going to explore the strategic solution that nations are now racing to adopt to secure their future in the AI age. It's called the sovereign imperative.
So, what exactly is sovereign AI? Well, at its core, it's about a nation's ability to build and control its own AI destiny. It means having your own infrastructure, your own data, your own talent, and your own models. It gives you full control over the entire AI lifecycle without being dependent on foreign powers.
And if you're wondering why this is so urgent, just look at the numbers. The concentration of AI development is staggering. Nearly 70% of all leading AI models come out of the US, another 25% from China. You do the math. That leaves the entire rest of the world dependent on just 5% of this foundational technology. That is a massive strategic vulnerability.
And believe me, leaders are waking up to this. With all the geopolitical tension in the world, a recent survey found that 61% of global business and government leaders are now actively looking for sovereign technology solutions. The demand for digital self-reliance is absolutely surging.
You know, there's a deeper, more human side to this too. This isn't just about security from sanctions or hidden backdoors. Sovereign AI actually allows technology to be shaped by local values, by local languages, by local culture. It's the difference between using some generic AI model that doesn't understand your context and building one that is truly genuinely designed for your citizens.
Now, let's be super clear here. This is not about digital protectionism or building a technological wall around your country. The real goal is strategic control. It's about creating a flexible system where you can integrate the best global technologies with your own, but you always do it on your own terms and under your own oversight.
But here's the catch. There is a major blind spot in this strategy right now. While companies are, rightly focused on locking down their data and their infrastructure, only 22% are applying that same sovereign thinking to the AI models themselves. I mean, they're locking the doors and windows, but they're leaving the brain of the whole operation, the AI model, completely dependent on foreign providers.
And all of this leaves us with a critical question for the future. As AI becomes the very foundation of our economies and our national security, who is going to write the rules? Will it be the handful of entities that currently control all the technology, or will it be the nations and the people who seize the initiative to build it for themselves? Because ultimately, the future of AI will belong to those who build it.